Alright, what's poppin' everybody? Swag Kage here, and today we're going to be talking about Wood Release, a nature release Kekkei Genkai created through the union of Earth Release and Water Release. Wood Release is, without a doubt, the most powerful nature transformation in the entire series, aside from, of course, Yin Yang Release. While it's never outright stated in the manga or the anime, there are plenty of things throughout the series that lend credence to this, like Hashirama being considered the strongest shinobi of all time, plenty of characters going through the trouble of having Hashirama's cells spliced into their body so they could gain access to Wood Release, etc. etc. Now, I'm sure many of you guys already know all of this and more about Wood Release and are just wondering what makes it so powerful. Why is the ability to create and manipulate wood so hacks OP in a world where shinobi can split atoms and slice apart mountaintops with their chakra? Well, here's the thing. Now, like I said, Wood Release is still probably the strongest nature transformation in the entire series, outside of Yin Yang Release, of course. But Hashirama was the only person to ever naturally possess Wood Release, and Asura Otsutsuki does too, if you count the filler with he and Indra. And Hashirama was really strong. None of the people provided with Hashirama's DNA ever matched his skill with Wood Release. Yamato, Danzo, Obito, hell, even Madara couldn't do half of the things with Wood Release that Hashirama could, and this is because Hashirama just had stupid amounts of chakra reserves. Like, they may as well have been endless. Now, that's not to say Hashirama is the only reason why Wood Release was as powerful as it was, just that Wood Release does have a whole lot more potential than any of the other nature transformations, but it takes a whole lot of skill and even more chakra to be able to use it to its fullest capabilities. Now, again, this isn't directly stated anywhere, but it's supported by quite a few statements from various characters saying that Hashirama's chakra is very difficult to control, and the fact that more powerful characters have better showings with Wood Release. Madara's Wood Release techniques were stronger than Yamato's were, and Hashirama's were stronger than Madara's. So yeah, I'd say it's safe to assume that all of this is pretty concrete. Still, even Wood Release's lower level techniques are pretty intimidating and versatile. Yamato's possession of Wood Release alone was enough to make him a trusted member of Danzo's root organization, and Yamato was capable of doing things like creating houses, trapping targets inside of wooden stocks, creating wooden cages and barriers, and he was also able to apply Wood Release's ability to suppress chakra. That's another thing Wood Release can do, by the way. I don't know why Wood Release is capable of suppressing chakra, but it can, so there you go. The extent to which it can do so is entirely dependent on the power and skill of the user, and it doesn't seem to have any artificial ceiling either. Using a technique called 10th Edict on Enlightenment, Hashirama is able to suppress the power of the tailed beasts, so yeah, it's pretty crazy. Speaking of Hashirama, Wood Release's higher level techniques are absolutely nothing to laugh at. These include the ability to create wooden clones similar to shadow clones, but not exactly the same thing. The ability to create exploding wooden dragons, a technique that allows the creation of an entire forest from absolutely nothing. A technique that can create flowers capable of emitting poisonous gas. A technique that allows the user to create an enormous chakra reinforced wooden golem that's pretty much invincible, and of course, the most powerful Wood Release technique, Sage Art Wood Release True Thousand Hands. Essentially, a 1,000-arm wooden Buddha Gundam mech, powerful enough to keep the entire Shinobi Alliance at bay at the same time, including the third Hokage, and to easily wipe out a Susanoo-cloaked nine-tailed fox. What I get from all of this is that the applications for Wood Release are endless and are only limited by the user's chakra and their imagination. The amount of different things Hashirama has been able to do with Wood Release is astounding. Like, it really is absolutely nuts. So I'm pretty sure that it's impossible for me to list every single application that Mokuton has. As you can probably tell for yourself, however, a common theme among Wood Release techniques is either the focus on the creation of a structure or on overwhelming a foe with ridiculous amounts of brute force. And of course, there are some Wood Release techniques that focus on both. Any techniques that break this trend generally focus on Wood Release's ability to either create full-blown trees or other kinds of wooden plants. While some of these still focus on overwhelming an opponent with brute force, like wood-style Deep Forest Emergence, others serve the purpose of a support jutsu, like many of Wood Release's other techniques do, without coming in the form of a structure. So instead of creating a cage to trap somebody in, a Wood Release user can create a flower that emits a poisonous gas, like I mentioned earlier. So with all of this in mind, I'm pretty sure you can fill in all of the blanks for yourself and figure out what Wood Release is and isn't capable of. As with many other aspects of the Naruto world, there are still quite a few unanswered questions floating around about Wood Release, so it's impossible for me to tell you everything about it. But like like I said, hopefully everything in this video will help you fill in any blanks that you need to. So with that said, that concludes the wood release video. Next time I talk about a nature transformation, it's gonna be particle release. I'll let the comments here decide which of the Kekkei Genkai nature transformations I tackle after that. Thank you guys for watching the video all the way to the end. Love you guys to death. Hope you have a fantastic day, and goodbye. I'll talk to you later. Swag Kage out. Speaking of Hashirama...